Today, with the advancement of technology, there are tons of financial experts and advisors who flood the market, media space, and the internet with their analyses, opinions, expertise, and suggestions. There are multiple WhatsApp groups, Facebook communities, Twitter, and many platforms with stock gurus claiming 100% success rate for either their stock picks or investment ideas. Remember I told you a story about the monkey market? There is another version of that story that gives you a clearer picture of how the financial market works. One day, a businessman appeared in a certain village and said that he wanted to buy monkeys. He said that he would pay 1,000 naira per monkey. As usual, the villagers caught all the monkeys in the forest and sold them to him for 1,000 naira each. Few weeks after, another businessman appeared and said that he would pay 2,000 naira for each monkey. But there weren't any more monkeys around. They were all owned by the first businessman. So, the villagers went to him and said that they were willing to take the monkeys back and return his money. But the monkey owner was unwilling to sell. The villagers raised the offer price to 1,500 per monkey, then 1,800, and finally to 1,900, but the businessman just didn't want to sell, even though he clearly didn't have any use for the monkeys. Interesting. Eventually, just to see whether he would sell, they offered him 2,000 naira, but he still refused. The villagers were puzzled by this. Mischief. Finally, one of them figured out that there must be someone else who was going to come to the village and offer even more money for the monkeys. Convinced that this was the real deal, they went and took loans and offered the man 3,000 naira for each monkey. And sure enough, the man accepted. Joyous at having landed such a great deal, they quickly paid him off before he changed his mind and took possession of the monkeys. You think say you wise? The man went away with his money and presumably lived happily ever after. The villagers waited for the next buyer. They waited and waited, but no one ever appeared who wanted to buy a monkey. Hold on. If you think you've guessed the moral of this story, you are wrong, because the story isn't even over yet. In this version, there was another village nearby. In this village, a businessman appeared one day and offered 10,000 naira each for a goat. Now, goats were valuable, but not as much as 10,000 naira. So the villagers sold the goats to this man. A similar thing happened here too. Now, listen to this. A second man appeared, offered 20,000 naira for each goat. The first man refused, and eventually, the villagers ended up buying the goats back for 30,000 naira each. Here too, the two men disappeared, and no one ever came and offered so much money for a goat again. But there was a difference. Goats aren't monkeys. They could be milked every day, and the milk was good and healthy. Even the goat droppings could be used as fertilizers for planting. When the goats eventually grew too old to be milked, the villagers could kill them all for meat. All in all, it wasn't a complete disaster. Reason am. But the monkey owners were not so lucky. The monkeys ate too much, shouted, and shrieked all day, sometimes even beat people. Eventually, it became clear that the monkeys were worthless. Their owners abandoned them and tried to forget about their losses. And that's the moral of the story. In the financial markets today, there are good companies that are overpriced, and there are worthless companies that are also overpriced. If you're going to be a fool and pay absurd prices because you think that a greater fool will appear in the future, make sure you buy a goat and not a monkey. Pick your struggle. Trade with data. Trade with knowledge. Trade with confidence. Follow ProShare Foundation on social media or visit proshare.com to get quick gist about how to invest in the financial markets. If you have any questions about investments or the financial markets, drop your comments below and please share.